Hi guys, it's Alexandra here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with my very first student teaching video diary. So as I've said in previous videos, this semester I am student teaching. It is my very last thing before I graduate in May, and I'm super excited about it. But I know that the next 16 weeks are going to be incredibly busy. So I want to record how I'm feeling, what I'm doing, all of the amazing experiences I'm having in video form, so that when I'm all done, I can sit down and watch these back and really see everything that I have accomplished. I'm also hoping to be able to give you guys some tips and tricks and pieces of advice to make your student teaching or internship just go a bit more smoothly. But let's get into the first episode of my student teaching video diary. So I was set to start student teaching on Monday, January 8th, and I got up that day at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was excited and nervous, but really just ready to go and get that first day done with, because I knew that once I got that first day done and I had really met my clinical educator and my students, I would feel so much better. I got up, I got my breakfast eaten, I had my makeup on, I had my clothes all nice and ready to go, and I got done getting ready about 6 o'clock, and I had about a half hour until I was set to leave for my student teaching that day. I was meeting with my clinical educator, or the classroom teacher that I'm going to be working with for the 16 weeks, early that day so that he could show me around the school a bit and just get to talk with each other a bit more. And I decided, I should probably check the school's Facebook page as well as the local news website to see if there's any closings or 2-hour delays or anything like that. And I had already checked it once at about 5 when I woke up, knowing full well that they probably wouldn't have posted anything by then, but it made me feel a little bit better. And I checked it again at 6, and there was a notification on Facebook that said my school was on a 2-hour delay first, and then right above it, as I was checking that, it said that there was no school. So my very first day of student teaching ended up being a snow day. And thankfully, because the school I'm going to be student teaching at canceled, that still counted as a day for student teaching. I don't have to make that up or anything like that. But it was a bummer. It made me a little stressed out, and I knew that I was still going to have another 24 hours of nervousness because I didn't really get to have my true first day of student teaching. But I knew I couldn't do anything about it. I checked all of the news channels over and over and over again just to make sure that I had read it correctly and that I didn't have school. But finally I realized that I didn't have school and I was just going to hang out for the day. So I did. I just hung out with my dog, and we chilled and had a good extra day of Christmas vacation. And then Tuesday rolled around, and I made sure to check the school's Facebook page and closings website again as I was done getting ready, and there thankfully was no 2-hour delay or cancellation. So I went. I had my very first true day of student teaching on Tuesday, and it was great. I got to meet all of my classes. I have 3 7th grade geography classes, 3 8th grade US history classes, a remediation period, a homeroom, and then obviously a prep and lunch. We have 10 periods because they count homeroom and lunch as a period in the day. So I have 10 periods and 6 actual true classes where I'll be teaching a lot. Homeroom I'll get to do some fun stuff in as well. But we got through that first day. I met the principal and I met a bunch of other people, and it was a really good experience. And about halfway through the day, my clinical educator, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna need your help with something tomorrow." I was like, "Okay, what can I do for you?" And he goes, "Well, I'm the MC for the Scripps Spelling Bee at the school tomorrow, and that means that I won't be here in class during 2nd period and 3rd period. Would you be willing to kind of help get things running and maybe even teach a little bit in the 3rd period class?" And I have to say, I was really nervous when he first said that to me, but I said, "Sure, I can do that." And I was like, "Okay, this is it. You get to really get your feet wet on what would be your 3rd day of student teaching, but really the 2nd day that you'd ever really met any of these kids and worked with them at all." And he gave me what he was looking for me to teach the students in third period, which is an 8th grade US history class, and he said, you make this into a lesson that works for you. You can do it exactly how I would have done it, or you can make it your own, but here's what I need you to do, and you're good to go. In second period, we were just watching a movie, so it wasn't anything too difficult. But I went home that night after second day of student teaching, and I put together a lesson. I had some courtroom vocab terms that I needed to work into a lesson, as well as some exemptions to the Fourth Amendment, because we are getting ready to do a mock trial to finish out their unit on the Constitution. So it's pretty exciting, actually. And I got it all set and everything printed off, and I was feeling pretty good, pretty confident, nervous that I was going to be teaching by myself on the second day of student teaching, but also excited. And I got to school the next day and everything was good. He was there with me in homeroom, so we checked to make sure I had everything that I needed, and then he went down for the spelling bee in second period. Obviously, second period wasn't too big of a deal. We just watched the movie. We're watching the movie Gandhi because we just finished up a unit that focused predominantly on India. So it's a really good movie. It has Sir Ben Kingsley in it playing Gandhi. And then third period was the real test. That was my very first time ever teaching in a classroom with no other adults present. So that was really neat. And it went pretty well. I was really nervous, so I think that the kids could kind of see that a little bit. I think my words didn't flow as smoothly as they would have if I had had another adult to support me in the classroom, but I think that was a good experience for me. And when my clinical educator came back from the spelling bee, he asked how it went, and I said, pretty darn good. And he said, well, would you like to teach the next 2 periods of 8th grade US history? He's like, we're doing the same thing, and if it went okay for you last period, you're more than welcome to do it. And I thought for a second to myself, okay, that's more than you thought you were going to have to do today, but it's a good experience. And so I said yeah, and he helped me kind of tweak my lesson a bit, and he gave me some really good tips of how to make a more lecture style lesson feel less stressful for me as a teacher, because I don't tend to do a ton of lecturing when I teach, but that was the kind of lesson that I had for that day, and it helped a ton. The second time that I did that lesson with a group of 8th graders was remarkably improved, and it went swimmingly. I was so happy. And the best part was that during that class period, my clinical educator could be in the room, and so he sat in the back of the room and took notes so that he could give me some constructive criticism after we were done. And I love that, because for me, I fully realize that I am not perfect and that I have a lot to learn, and he has been doing this for a long time. And so for him to be able to give me some constructive feedback right away after a lesson, before I even went and taught the 3rd section of 8th grade US history, was amazing, because I even tweaked my lesson more after that. And by the time we got to 9th period, which is the last 8th grade section of the day, my lesson really felt like it was smooth and that it was coming together and that things were really rolling. And so that second true day of student teaching on Wednesday, while stressful and nerve-wracking, was an amazing experience, and I learned a ton just in that one day of what it means to be a teacher. And so that was really great. And then I came back on Thursday and things were really smooth. I got to work with the same 8th grade sections. We split the class half and half. Half of them have set scripted roles for the mock trial, so they stayed in the classroom and worked with my clinical educator, and the other half are in the jury. We have 2 separate juries because there's just quite a few kids in class, and so we went out in the hallway and we worked on critical thinking skills using scenarios that involve the Fourth Amendment, because that's basically what they're going to be asked to do as a jury, is think through the evidence presented to them in the mock trial and then use their knowledge of the Fourth Amendment to decide the case, come to a verdict of guilty or not guilty. And so it was really fun. Again, it was kind of last minute. I didn't have any time to prep for working with them in the hallway that day, but it went really well. In each period, it got a little bit better and a little bit better. And it's been a great way to get to know the students right away, is to just get in there and start working with them. And then came Friday, and Friday we had another snow day. It was really bad weather. They started off with a 2-hour delay, and it kept snowing. There's ice under the snow. It would have been dangerous for me to try and drive down to my placement, but I was so thankful when the cancellation finally came through, because I knew that it would count towards my total number of days of student teaching, but I could also stay safe in my home and not have to risk it going to my placement. My placement's only about 25 minutes from my house, but on bad roads, that 25 minutes is going to feel like a very, very long time. But that is everything from my first week of student teaching. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. If you would like to be notified when I post new videos, be sure to hit the notification bell as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye!